Hey everyone, Jared here from Storytowns. If you've been hiding under a rock, which you probably haven't been, you will know that the world is now in lockdown. And at Storytowns, we want to keep you connected with local businesses and the people behind them, because everyone is doing it tough right now. And when we can venture back outside, we can support these amazing people. So we thought we would make our normal driving podcast tours available for you at the comfort of your own home. And right now, here is Tash and Hoges from Aringa North. On the farm with Hoges and Tash. You guys. Okay, I want to talk about farming in the local area here. So you've moved here 19 years ago next week, Hoges. Now, why did you come here and why farming in this area?
Oh, well, we set some criteria. It had to be good climate, reliable rainfall, good soil and good underground water. And on top of that, we had to be near a good centre. So this ticked all the boxes. Warrnambool being a very good centre agriculturally, and yeah, great volcanic soils, really good underground water, and here we are.
And you came in with a progressive mindset. Would that be right? Is that what I'm putting that right, Tash? You're so confident, don't be shy.
I don't know about progressive, but open-minded.
Okay.
Yeah. Having done the RCS course, we wanted to farm without inputs, fertilisers. So it's a different way of farming, and all areas of Australia lend themselves to that, don't they?
Was the farm, did you have to, so when you came to this farm, you had to start from scratch and regenerate the farm, I guess, because we've been talking about regenerative farming. So you had to start from scratch and start to build the land again, I guess. Was that your aim when you came here?
Yeah, I guess it's about letting Mother Nature take her course and for her to organise what happens. So, you know, with big mobs, small paddocks, big rest, that enables her to do her thing. You know, like grasses, we're getting native grasses that weren't here when we came because, well, there was no sign of them, they were here, but they were just getting nibbled off all the time, so you didn't know they were here. And, you know, we've become, as an industry, we've become really dependent and reliant on introduced grasses, monocultures, and is that good for us in the end, because we end up eating what lives off those monocultures? Is it good for us? Who knows? But we've chosen to say it isn't. So we're feeding our stock on a much broader range of grasses. They're not, you know, some annuals, some natives, some introduced perennials. And it's just a choice, isn't it? Like, some people think we're crackpots and, you know, other people agree with us. So it's, you know, for us it's working.
Because you guys seem like just typical farmers around here. Like, if the way we're talking now, I think people might have this vision of the type of who I'm talking to. But if I met you out at the field days, I wouldn't think that you're some hippie crackpot walking around. You're curious about trying different ways of farming.
Oh yeah, but I think farmers in general don't, you know, they don't ram what they do down anyone's throats. They just go about and do what they do, and we're the same. You know, we get involved in the local community. We like going in to watch the local football and cricket, and just like anyone else. And we do our thing, and they do theirs. And you know, the world goes round.
How long was it till you started to see changes on the land?
I think the big change for me was seeing our swampy country get wet and grow a lot of grass and just native grasses. And then we started to block off our drains and hold water on those natural swamps for longer, and it's been really beneficial. Yep.
Tash, can you tell me some of the frustrations in those first 10 years trying to get this, get the regenerative land back to its strength?
I don't think we've got there, actually. Okay. I think we've got a long way to go. I don't recall frustrations per se, but it just takes time. It takes time. It's a very inhospitable, some parts of the farm with the rocky barriers. So fencing the farm into 10 hectare paddocks was challenging. Following the barriers, making sure the fences worked, setting up cell centres, running polypipe to make sure the large mobs had sufficient water. They were challenges, but you couldn't bury the polypipe, so that's a challenge in itself. But no other challenges. Yes, it's a choice to not fertilise, but then maybe we don't run as many stock because we don't fertilise, but we don't have the output costs in the fertilising. So I don't know, no challenges in that because we were quite adamant that this was the way we wanted to go.
And we were talking before. You said that when you were eating the other night, everything you eat is come from the land here. Not everything, but at that time, like not
One
always.
meal.
Yeah, but that's good though. Yeah.
The first meal that I noticed, and it was just George didn't like it because there was zucchini and
Broccoli.
No, he doesn't. No, he actually didn't like it. The broccoli's all gone to head, so you're just breaking off little bits. But it did all come from the farm, so it was nice.
And he ate it.
And he
He has to.
yeah, he's got to.
Yeah.
And so you're like the dream parents because a few years ago you've got 5 kids. You picked up the kids, said, "Let's go to France for 17 months." Whose idea was that?
My lovely wife's.
It was Tash.
I don't remember, but yes, perhaps it was mine. I'm a bit of a francophile at heart, so I was very keen to learn the language to a degree of proficiency, and just thought it would be a good thing to do. So yes, we packed everyone up. The children all went to school, and we ended up staying nearly 6 months longer than initially thought, but it worked well. Harry's just done VCE French, so that's been a good outcome. Millie's doing it now. Jack's planning to do it. So,
how did the kids fit in, like with learning languages, and how'd that go?
I imagine for them it was quite challenging. They, particularly for the boys, they just played. So they just learnt it by osmosis, as you do as a small child growing and you learn the language. Took 6 months for them to start communicating in the language, probably. By the end of the time, they were expected to do the work, particularly the younger ones, do the same work as the local children. But yes, it was challenging. Our house was always English. So they would come home and that would be a safety. There were a few children in the high school that spoke English, so we're able to translate for the older 3, and the younger boys, they had each other, I suppose. The 2 little ones had each other, and so they just got by.
Wow. And Hoges, tell me, what was the difference in the, I guess, small farming over there, and what did you see between those in France and in Australia?
They all had
bureaucratics, let's start there.
They all had very big tractors.
Really?
And not much land.
Okay.
Very big houses. But the positive thing was they were allowed to produce and process their own produce. That was probably the biggest thing. There was no red tape. They were carting the milk down from the dairy straight to the dairy, and they'd process it and they'd sell the cheese. It was none of the rubbish that we've got to put up with and just eat mass-produced crap. They were eating good, wholesome, grass-fed produce.
And when you came back, how did you feel coming back? Was it a bit of a culture shock coming back, or were you okay coming back to Australia?
I was fine. I wanted to feed the world grass-fed whatever and tried to produce it, but didn't go so well. But now we're concentrating on, beef and lamb and a little bit of honey.
I know that most beekeepers love their bees. So did you have a love for bees before, or you're getting a bigger love for bees at the moment?
Yes, I didn't ever think of doing this. There was, the silly thing now, looking back, was there was beekeepers in the village that we lived in, and I didn't even meet them. And we got back, and a friend in town said, "Would you like a hive?" And I said, "Yeah, I'll have a look at it." And it's gone from there. But we sell honey at the moment. We sell it at Whiten Events in Warrnambool with Dan and Megan Myers.
How's your honey?
Oh, it's beautiful. You've tasted it. You know what it... Yeah, so there you go. No, it's very good. It's very good.
Thank you both for talking to me today. Thanks, Hogs.
Thanks, Jared.
Thanks, Tash.
Thank you, Jared.
Thanks for listening to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to hit the little bell up there so you get notifications. You can also find us on Facebook and Instagram. Just search for Storytowns. I'm Jared Pickford, and this is Storytowns Podcast. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.